It would be wrong to think that the border is open. It is not open.
We're been down to the border. The possible next speaker says that he wants him to go with him. So is he going to?
So look, he's been there. He's been to the border, and since he took office,
When did he go to the border?
But that's not how it works. Like we actually no.
I know that that's not what you guys want to happen, but that is what is happening.
But that's not. It's not like somebody walks over and that's not how
What's happening?
we. Well,
Thousands of people are walking in a day. Some of them turn themselves over. Some of them are caught. Tens of thousands a week are not. That is what is happening.
it is not that simple. It's not just that people are walking across the border. We want to secure the border. We've been doing that work on our own. The president has done the work to deal with what we're seeing at the border since day one. Because when you look at inflation, when we look at where we are economically, and we are stronger economically than we have been in history. What we saw on January 6th was the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl Mika, and you're watching the Red Cup Podcast, where truth, pop culture, and politics meet.
What's going on, you guys? It's your girl Mika, and we're back for another Red Cup Talks because this is where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. What's going on, you guys? It's Thursday. What's up, you guys? Can you guys hear me good? Are we good? Are we good? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Let me know. What's going on, your car? You said it's got feedback. What? What it sound like? Let me see. You said it's got feedback. What it sound like? Let me see. You can hear me good now? It sounds good on my end. And I just checked it. Let me know if it keeps going though. But thank you guys. What's going on, Magnetar? What's going on, Slimmy? Hey, Slimmy. What's going on? What's going on, Big Happy? What's going on, Dion? What's going on, Kendra? What's going on, I Am? All right, we in the building. I normally would say the girls are fighting, but today it's the men. So the friends are fighting. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? All right, you guys. We have a lot to go through today. What's up, Loud and Clear? What's going on? What's going on, Miss Crochetti? Hey, Lisa. Hey, Diane. Hey, Eric. All right, you guys. We got a lot to go through today, okay? When I tell you everybody is acting up, everybody is acting up, all right? It's the summertime, all right? Everybody's on, doing everything. The YNs is acting up. The cops is acting up. We got people back on the docket, that are habitual bald-headed reasoning people. We have that. We have Miss Karine Jean-Paul. She's on the docket. And then we got Elon and Trump. You guys, we're going to get there. But the Democrats, I know they're going to have a field day with it when they really get it rolling. Like, I think they're waiting a little bit, but we'll get there. All right, you guys. I just want to make sure I get everybody as y'all roll in. And I want to thank Mike that dude on the super chats. I always forget because I'm so busy looking at this screen. So I want to thank Mike that dude. All right. Thank you for not super chats, cash apps. Thank you for your cash apps. What's up, Outlaw? What's going on? All right. Let's get into it, you guys. Let's get into our shots. All right. Now, if you guys don't know, or if you're new to the show, Shots is a portion of my show where I don't do a long segment on it, but I still wanted to mention it, bring it up, talk about it a little bit. So that's what we're going to do. All right. So, our first shot today, when I tell you it's getting hot, the YNs is out. The YNs is out. All right. And this one just happened to be so nasty, so rude that he was in the court just laughing. All right. I want you guys to see this boy because he's very young. He's grown though, but he's very young. However, he's about to get a grown man lesson. I want you guys to see what happened to this young boy as he's being charged and sentenced. Here we go.
You kept shooting, man! You kept shooting! He's back! He's back with time to you, man!
A smile of the teenager in the courtroom increased his prison term from 25 years to 285 years.
Sentenced by the parties, but watching you sit there, smile and laugh and shake your head like this was no big deal, we'll go to trial. And if you're convicted of felony murder, you'll go to prison for the rest of your life. That means you'll die there. That's what I'm tempted to do.
Dana Wright, 18 years old, was with two friends in October. Jermarius Ellison, 19, and Delreno Gracie, 18. Robbery of 18-year-old high school student Jordan Clay in Ann Arbor. But it was strongly resisted by Jordan. Wright pulled the trigger in the chaos. Jordan deceased in his apartment in Songhu Village, just a few miles from his home, and was found by a maintenance worker. In the courtroom, Wright was grinning from ear to ear, disapproving of the entire trial's verdict. When Jordan's family read out the impact statement, his mother couldn't help crying loudly, while Wright deliberately laughed at her.
I just want to tell y'all I'll be home soon. R.I.P. Keon. I love my family.
The judge was greatly shocked. Subsequently, he overturned the original 25-year prison sentence for Wright and ordered him to deceased in prison and never be reunited with his family. Wright apologized to the judge through his lawyer, saying that he had merely concealed his fear by smiling and had no intention of showing disrespect to the court. But it was too late. Ultimately, Wright was sentenced to 285 years in prison for a smile, and he will spend the rest of his life in prison. Do you agree with the judge's verdict? Share your thoughts in the comments section.
I absolutely 1000% agree with the judge's verdict. Okay. Now, the sentence was already between 25 and 200 and what is that? 85 years. Okay. He decided to give him the lower end, which would have gave him, maybe he would have spent maybe 10 years in prison. He would have got out maybe like 28, 30, and then, parole, whatever. However, he decided that he was going to smirk and laugh and, just be nasty and rude. I'm going to be out soon and all this other stuff. Well, he won't be out at all. Okay. Not for his birthday, his cousin's birthday. All right. At all. So I'm glad with the verdict. What y'all think? Because here's the thing. These young teens think they can do all of this just because they're young. And a lot of these judges, especially the liberal judges, they like to give, these teenagers, they like to, oh, well, they're young. My motto, I don't care. I don't care about 18. I don't care about 25. The front lobe, I don't care about that either. You do the crime, you got to do the time. All right. Because they know what they're doing. They know. He knew. And then when he figured out that it wasn't on game time, he tried to change it. No. Take this whooping. So I'm okay with it. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you thought about that shot, because that was wild. All right. Now, I want to get into this next one because if you guys don't know, it is now election season. And yeah, we're ramping up for election seasons. Okay. And the mayor of New York has a contender. Now, his contender is a rabid liberal. Here she is.
We have sued him, and New York will win. I will always be a mayor that will stand up for our immigrants. Donald Trump's ICE has no place on Rikers Island. Donald Trump's ICE has no place pulling our people that are taking their legal court dates now. No rights.
Thank you.
Not in my New York. We have sued him, and New York will win. I will always.
Okay, so she's one of those Letitia, Respucia James, bald-headed reasoning type of girls. All right. This lady here, her name is, and I quote, Adriana. Yes, Adriana Adams. Go figure. However, she is running up against Mayor Eric Adams. Okay, no relation. But this is what New York continues to get. New York continues to get these ultra liberals and then wonder why they got all types of tax. The only tax New York don't have is a VAT tax. I'm waiting for that. Okay. Kind of like the Bahamas and these other places. Once they get a VAT tax, it's a wrap up there. Because they're overtaxed. Okay, they have such high real estate. Most of it's empty, which leads me to believe that the Chinese owns most of it, but I digress. Yeah. That's New York. But they also have a DEM that turned independent. All right, which is Mayor Eric Adams. So I wonder how this is going to pan out. I wonder if Mayor Eric Adams is actually going to win. What do you guys think? I think Mayor Adams is he's unmatched when it comes to his politics, but he's going to lose. And he's going to lose because he's not ultra liberal. He doesn't want to give free money to the migrants. Yeah. People like AOC are going to go against him. People like Chuck are going to spend money against him. I think he's going to be booted out. However, I think it's a home for him in the independent and Republican Party. So you guys, I'll keep up with this, but I just thought I would bring you guys this because when I saw it, I just saw it and I was just like, New York, you don't learn your lesson. You're like California. All right. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about Miss Adriana Adams or Adrienne Adams. It's pronounced one of the ways. All right, you guys. Now, from one bald-headed reasoning to another. Here's another shot of somebody I thought we got rid of. Joyless Reed. Joyless Reed is back. I don't know if Joyless Reed ever left. She got off our cable, but she did not get off our internet. Okay. Whether you call it Elon's internet or Beyonce's internet, whatever you choose, she's on both of them. I cannot stand Joy. Okay. Like, I can't stand this woman. However, she still can't come to grips with losing her job. She doesn't know why, and she's still Trump deranged. All right. And here she is talking about how Donald Trump can't take a Black woman going at him. For some reason, a Black woman, delivering the questions to him gets under his skin. You got to see it. Here we go.
I think that there's a difference for Trump in hearing the kinds of criticisms specifically out of a Black woman. It bothers him in a way it doesn't bother him like anything else. He's got this sort of tick about race, and about, sort of criticism coming specifically from a Black woman, because we've seen him lay out and dish out real, abuse against Black women journalists. So I think and also I did a specific thing, which was I tried to constantly unpack the racial history of the country, which is very much against the sort of Project 2025 thing. And it's something I can do in a certain capacity because of my background, because not only am I a Black woman, but I come from immigrant parents who come from what Donald Trump would consider shithole countries, but that have I have a take on race that is different. I think that
what is Joyless Reed's take on race that's different from all the other Trump deranged bald-headed reasoning liberals? What's Joy Reid's take that's different? She says she has a different take. What is her take? Last time I checked, when she was on television, when she had a job, when she wasn't unemployed, last time I checked, it was Trump bad, economy Trump bad? What's the take? What is the difference? These people have absolutely no mind of their own, especially people like Joyless Reed, The View, Cloudy Hosting over there. They don't have their own thought processes. They don't have their own, way of thinking. At least if you're a liberal, why do you think Trump is bad? Like, say something else other than Nazi, say something else other than, I don't know. He likes to pal around with Putin. I don't know. I don't know what her take is. I don't know what's the difference, but she added, into this podcast because it was very long and I don't want to torture you guys with that. I didn't want to torture myself, but she added in this podcast that, she was fired because she's a Black woman. Shocker. She was fired because she was the only one who on her network, this is what she said, she was the only one on her network that was going directly at Donald Trump. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, never mind Jen, what's her name? Jen Psaki. Never mind, the other bro, Rachel Maddow. Never mind them. Never mind her other bald-headed reasoning friend, Simone Saunders. Never mind Michael Steele. Never mind those people. She was the only one going at Donald Trump, and she was a Black woman. I don't know what the other women are. One is a white woman, but Simone Saunders, I guess you can't make this stuff up. Joy Reid has not changed. Joy Reid is pondering, okay? And at the end of the day, Joy, your ratings were bad. They were low, and that's all it was, honestly and truly, because MSNBC doesn't care about you being Trump deranged. And neither do I, because you gave great content, because, child, you were wild. But at the end of the day, it comes down to dollars. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And clearly, she doesn't make either or, because she doesn't have her own podcast doing well, all right? Because you have other people that have gone off to do other things. Look at Megyn Kelly. Look at Tucker Carlson. Okay? I mean, even on the liberal side, even though he says he's not a liberal, he says he's in the middle, right? However, even on the liberal side, look at Don Lemon, okay? Don Lemon's little lemon drop followers went over there where he is. So if you actually had a following, if you were actually good to some degree, people would go follow you. But people only like Joy because she said the most outrageous things. And I'm going to stand on that. I'm going to stand on that. Period. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you thought about Miss Joy. Okay? Miss Joyless Reid. She's still over there pandering. All right, you guys. So last but not least, let's get into this last shot. You're going to need a shot for this one, like a real shot. I see y'all in the chat. Y'all wild. All right. So in honor of Pride Month, okay, and this weekend is DC Pride, okay? So in honor of all of that, we have the police officer that was charged down in Miami because the woman he thought was a woman wasn't a woman. It was a man. Here we go.
We came back to my place of residence.
Okay.
And that's it.
And what happened inside?
Nothing.
So you guys didn't argue?
No, we didn't argue.
You just stated that you
just
did.
kicked her out.
This is the moment Daniel Chala, Miami-Dade County deputy of more than 30 years, is questioned by police at his apartment after a night out at 11.
Why did you kick her out?
Because I didn't care for her.
Why didn't you care for her?
Because I didn't like her.
Okay. Did something happen inside that made you not like her,
There
or
was
that made
no
you kick her
violence
off?
whatsoever.
Chala denies being violent to his guest. The records show he went home with a woman who accused him of wrapping his arm around her neck tightly and refusing to let her go. The woman, who eventually ran out to get help, records show was seen by witnesses bleeding from the mouth and with marks.
Represented at all times that she was a woman, when in fact she was a man, meaning that she still had male anatomy.
Susie Rivero Ayala, Chala's attorney, says the woman lied to the officer about her gender and he wanted her out.
You guys are like standing here like if I assaulted her. I did not assault her.
Chala was arrested
Turn around. Don't resist.
for allegedly battering and preventing the woman from leaving.
Because you seem intoxicated.
I am intoxicated, but the thing is that I never assaulted her.
But today, about a month after this arrest, prosecutors cleared Chala of any crimes. The state attorney's office tells NBC6 after numerous attempts to get the victim to cooperate, she refused to assist with the investigation.
This person came in under false pretenses, and my client escorted this person out.
And the deputy's attorney tells me he was on paid leave, but it's unclear what will happen now since the case is officially closed. We did reach out to the sheriff's office about that, but we haven't heard back yet. In Miami, Christian Colon, NBC6 News.
What y'all think? Thank you, Christian. So what do you guys think? Okay, here's my thoughts on that. I think the man found out that the woman was a man. And yeah, he was like, yeah, you gotta go. Let's go. You gotta go. And bro was like, I ain't going nowhere. And yeah, I do think they came to blows. I do. Okay, I'm not even gonna lie about that. However, here's the thing. You guys, y'all gotta stop doing this, okay? However you want to live your life is fine, but you have to give other people the option. Okay, you can't say, well, I live like this. You don't know how people are going to react. Okay, some people don't mind being with transgender people. Okay, and some people do. You can't have a choice, but not give somebody else the choice. That's what gets on my nerves about this whole thing. Okay, and it's not just this type of story. It's just in general. Everything is always about how the LGBT community feels, or how this group feels, or how that feels. Nobody ever, talks to the other people that are being impacted about how they feel. Okay. We talk about trans women. They never talk about the women, real women that are being impacted by them being in sports. We only talk to the trans. Okay. They say, okay, well, I'm going to put this on my birth certificate. Okay, that's fine. But when that man goes to marry you and he wants children, like, you've now wasted years of his life. Like, it's deceptive. It's very deceptive. And if you want people to respect you, you actually have to give respect. And this is why the whole agenda, besides it being nonsense, this is why that community can't get respect, because they only want respect to go one way. And that's my whole thought on it. So I do think they all came to blows. I do think they came to blows, but he was in the right, and it's his house. If I ask you to get out, if I ask you to get out of my house and you don't get out of my house, I could pretty much do what I want then, because I told you to get out. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about all of these stories in the shots. Okay. Let me know what you think about Joyless REID. Let me know what you think about the YN getting 285 years. Let me know what you think about the New York mayor race that I don't think Eric Adams is going to win, because he's not liberal enough and he sided with Trump. And then let me know what you think about the cop versus the transgender woman. Okay. Let me know what you guys thought about all of those. I see more people in the building. What's up, Classy? What's up, Dion? What's up, Amber? Every time I see a name like that, I just think of Amber. Amber. For more money. Thank you. What's up, Joseph? What's up, King? What's up, you guys? What's up, Quick Fix? All right, you guys, let me get into these super chats really quick, and then we're going to get into everything else. Classy, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I live in Los Angeles. She's no different than Karen Bass, in my opinion, or Crypt Keeper Waters. Oh, Dry Wig. Yeah. She really, that's who started them fires. That's who started them brush fires. That wig caught on fire. you know, it gets really hot in California. She was outside, caught on fire, and she happened to be standing by a tree just like me, like right here. And y'all got to keep water around Maxine. Okay, her last name is Water. Why is there no child? Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Oh, y'all about to have me clowning, and I done poured a little bit in there. I'm not gonna lie. Thank you so much. All right. Classy again with the $5 super chat. She was fired because she looks like Simone. Who is Simon? Oh, Simon Phoenix. Simon Phoenix from Demolition Man. Yes. Is that Wesley Snipes? I can't. You guys, what's wrong with y'all? Crunch Time TV, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Hey, Mika, looking forward to today's show. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you all for your super chats. And again, thank you to Mike That Dude for your Cash App. I appreciate you guys. All right, you guys, let's move on. Demolition Man. Before we do, remember, you guys, I'm looking at the leaderboards and the super chats and the chats and the likes because today is Thursday. And I told you guys every week I'm going to do a giveaway of my bald-headed reasoning mugs, okay? So I'm going to look at the leaderboards, okay? Here it is. It's right there. If you want me to write something, let me know. If not, I'll just put something, you know, that I want on it, on the side, around the back, somewhere. But you guys, thank you so much. This is my way of showing you guys that I do appreciate you guys for tuning in. Right. And I do appreciate you for supporting and super chatting and liking and sharing because I look at all the analytics. So thank you guys so much. So remember that because I'm going to do that at the end of the show today. Thank you. All right, you guys, let's go on to our next topic. Karine has been dumped by Joe Biden and the Dems. Okay. Joe Biden and the Dems have finally got rid of Karine. I know you guys saw that opening. And when I tell you that woman, I really don't know what to say. How did she get that job? How really did she get that job? How did she get that job? I mean, I know she's been in politics, but how did she get that job? I guess because she was the first, you know, she was like the first openly gay when I thought she was queer, but now she says she's gay. So openly gay, openly, I don't know, just open. Yeah, she's the first everything, woman, black, all of that stuff. And so I guess that fit their whole, you know, 92% narrative because they were going with the whole 92% thing, you know, with Kamala and the greens in the tub and, you know, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, all that stuff. So I guess, you know, she fit right into that. That's fine. However, she has now switched. Okay. She is saying that she is an independent. Now, you guys, I have been independent since I've been able to vote. Okay. I've always been independent, or as it says on my card, unaffiliated. All right. I vote, though, more Republican, if not all Republican, because I've only voted for Republicans since I've been able to vote. Okay. So I was able to vote for Barack's second term. I was able to vote for Donald Trump. I was able to vote for Donald Trump. And I was able to vote for Donald Trump. Okay. So those have been my votes. That's it. That's all. So I don't know what she's talking about, that she's, you know, independent, but we're going to go take her at her word. So you guys, I want you all to see what she had to say, what she has going on, and why everybody is so upset on the liberal side. Okay. I want you guys to see Miss Karine Jean-Paul and see what she has to say. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Karine Jean-Pierre, and I am the author of a new book that's coming out this fall called independent. It's coming out on October 21st, so please, please do grab it. And the reason I wrote this book, coming out of the White House, you know, serving as White House press secretary was an honor and a privilege. But since I have left, the people that come up to me, strangers that come up to me just across the country as I'm traveling, and sometimes right in my neighborhood, at a grocery store, supermarket, airport, my daughter's school, the number one question they ask me is, Karine, how do we get out of this? How do we protect our democracy? How do we protect vulnerable communities among us? What do we do next? Because we don't have answers here. That's what they ask me. And this is my answer. And what I mean by that is, in an era of misinformation, disinformation, the regressiveness of social policy, what we're seeing currently right now, what I have decided to do, and I really have thought long and hard about this, is to follow my own compass. And that's what I've done. And that's what this book does. And here's the truth. And here's how I will lay it out to you. I think we need to stop thinking in boxes and think outside of our boxes and not be so partisan. And the way that I see moving forward in this space that we're in right now is, if you are willing to stand side by side with me, regardless of your political, how you identify politically, and as long as you respect the community that I belong to and vulnerable communities that I respect, I will be there with you. I will move forward with you. And that is, I think, so important. So this book, Independent, it's about looking outside of boxes, not just always being in a partisan stance. And how do we move forward together in a compassionate way, in a way that really, truly cares about people? October 21st.
Who buying that book? Eric Watson, you are absolutely 100% correct. She was there to get her check. She would be like, he hadn't said nothing to me yet. I'll get back with you. That's how she was. Like, she never knew anything. Okay. You remember when Mitt Romney got in trouble for those binders full of women? Okay. That woman actually had a binder full of nonsense all the time. Just, yeah. I mean, the president said he was going to walk over there tomorrow. So where are you getting this information from? So you guys, on October, please, come on, Karine. Come on, Karine. Pierre. No, nobody's buying this book, child. Nobody is buying. I don't even think she has the book yet. I think it's a mock-up. And she about to go back and rewrite that. She's getting so much backlash, as she should, because she decided that she was going to go, on this program and this program. And she never said a thing. She never said a thing. Okay. It's been how long she's been out the White House? She never said a thing. However, I like to let people cook. So I'm going to let one of our favorites go ahead and cook and tell us what we already know, but he always puts it so remarkably. Here we go.
Although I would argue that it's pretty disloyal to leave the political party that, gave you your biggest career shot that you've ever had. But I tend to agree with you. I mean, I think the things we've learned in the last 2 years is that the two least credible sources of information in this world are the Gaza Health Ministry and Karine Jean-Pierre. And when she puts this book out, every single person who reads it, reviews it, or discusses it needs to remember that virtually everything she said about what was going on behind the scenes in the White House was an outright lie. And so when she puts a book out, I think we ought to treat it from a source that has a proven track record of lying from the podium of the White House to the American people.
Well, we will find out.
I agree with you. I don't think she will, although I would argue that it's pretty disloyal to leave the political party that, gave you your biggest career shot.
He's absolutely right. Remember, I said, how did she get that job? How did she get that job? Okay. Like they just picked her out of a hat. They just looked out, you. Like, how did she get that job? I'm so trying to figure out how she got that job. But Scott is absolutely right. Okay. It's very disloyal. It's very disloyal. But to me, I don't think she has a political future with the Democratic Party. And I think that's why she's doing it. I don't think she has a political future. So, being that she doesn't have a political future with the Democratic Party, she's okay with doing all of this. And side note, you know, I just happen to be watching Don Limon, and you know, he likes to gossip like one of the girls. So, you know, and he's very connected. And he happened to say that, you know, Jean Pierre over here, she actually was not very much liked by the Joe Biden administration, and that unlike Jen Psaki, she was not able to get a anchor job. You know, go over to get you know, a job on MSNBC. You know, like Simone Saunders when she did the campaigns for Bernie Sanders, and she worked with the Harris campaign, and even a little bit of Joe Biden. Right? So these people were able to move ahead. Okay. Even if you go to the other side, right? The conservative side, you got Kayleigh McEnany. All these people have a job. Okay. There have been press secretaries that are conservative or liberal that have, you know, jobs as anchors or some type of correspondence to the news. Nobody wants to hire Miss Karine Jean-Pierre. Why? I'll tell you why. You can't do this on air. Hold on. Yeah, you can't do that on air. You guys, that's why she can't get a job. That's why. And on top of that, she worked for Joe Biden. Okay. And we know that this administration has covered up a lot. They're involved in a lot. And I really honestly think they were trying to keep certain things close to the chest. Now, it just so happens that a lot of people are just telling. Like, it is what it is. They're telling. Okay. But you're going to have to read off a teleprompter. Okay. When I do my videos, like my actual videos, I have a teleprompter for some of it, so I can remember notes. But the notes that she would have to remember, child, she needs that binder. So since she excuse me, since she needs that binder, it's not going to work. So I agree with Scott 100%. Now, here's the thing. Scott had a lot to say about this. And it's because he has he has been very vocal about Karine Jean-Pierre the entire time she was the press secretary and even after. So we're going to continue to let Scott go ahead and cook. Here he is on another CNN panel talking about Jean-Pierre.
I have a different view. I'd like to congratulate Democrats for ridding yourselves of this untalented mediocrity. I mean, this is the most self-aggrandizing liar that has ever held this job. The White House press secretary is a sacred position, and she stood up there for years and lied through her teeth to the American people.
My friend,
and
she's not the first.
She is the literal worst White House press secretary in my lifetime. And what she did in the last year and a half of the Biden administration, cheap fakes, the entire cover-up around the president's mental faculties, she was in the center of it.
So you think she's doing this to launder herself?
So congratulations for getting rid of this, but Democrats deserve everything they're getting here for putting her in that job in the first place.
The fact that it seems like she was in the White House for her own personal gain and not to service the American people.
I agree with you.
And part of that is Alex Thompson has some reporting that she had a publicist working for her pro bono to lift up her profile.
Again, how did she get that job? Nobody is telling that story, right? Like, how did Jean-Pierre get that job? I think she was like a comms communicator director or something like that. I don't know. But to go from that to the press secretary, that's a big jump. And that was for John Edwards. How did she get this job? And that's what I mean by DEI, just giving people jobs. Because she would have been the first this, the first that, the first this, that. Everybody in, Joe Biden's cabinet is the first. Okay. We had the first HS secretary over there in high heels and all this stuff, when he's, I don't know the pronouns, but yeah, we have all of this stuff, the first, right? Instead of just actually putting who's the best. And people will say, oh, well, that's, homophobic or this and that and the third. The Treasury Secretary right now is gay. Do we care? No. The Democrats bring that up every time and at every turn that they can. They bring up the fact that he's gay. Why don't the Republicans? Because we don't care. Why don't independents? Because we don't care. We genuinely don't care. Does the man do his job? Okay. What he wants to do at home, by golly, is his business. If he wants to lemon drop, let him. Does he do his job? That's all we want to know. That's not homophobic. That's not caring about anything else but the job. I don't care what people want to do in their private lives. So I digress on that point. But that's the difference between conservatives, independents, and the left. Okay. Now, from one independent to another, okay, we touched on Scott and the conservative side. Let's go to another self-proclaimed independent, just like Jean. Okay. Let's go to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith had a lot to say about Jean-Pierre. Okay. Now, Stephen A. to me is hit or miss because sometimes he's right, sometimes he's not. Because he's animated, I watch anyway. I like an animated person. I'm very animated. But Stephen A. was on point here. He put in a little bit of his biases and he puts in a little bit of his, his little liberal whistle. He whistles to the liberals a little bit. I'm still over there. But he was on point here. So I want to play you what Stephen A. had to say. Here we go.
You were not the White House press secretary when you showed up on ABC's The View a couple of months ago. You were talking major stuff then. You were not the White House press secretary. You were an American citizen who was not working in the White House. What the hell you go on the show for then? Bloviating about Joe Biden and how he was alert and he was spry and he was a great commander-in-chief and he was sharp and all of this stuff. I don't have it clipped in front of me because I just saw the story. You're lucky I don't have time to pull it up. But I'm fully aware of the fact that you were not the White House press secretary when you were on The View spewing the same stuff you had spewed when you were the White House press secretary. So all bets are off. You didn't have to do that, but you chose to. Live with your decisions. Live with your decisions. You didn't have to do that, but that's what you chose to do. You chose to go front and center and still spew the same party line. So what the book's going to tell us? The book's going to tell us more about the Democrats. The book going to be an extension of Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson's book, Original Sin? Yet another Democrat coming out and telling us about stuff that a whole bunch of stuff on the right was telling us, but y'all swore we shouldn't listen to while y'all were engaging in cancel culture, while y'all were engaging in excoriating anybody that called the Democratic Party out for what the hell was going on. That's what we're supposed to do now? That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to listen to you now. Okay. I'll do that. Karine Jean-Pierre, you are more than welcome to come on the Stephen A. Smith Show. and explain your book and what it's going to say. But not only why we didn't hear from you while you were the White House press secretary, which is very understandable, but how come we didn't hear that from you afterwards? Why were we hearing the same stuff after you left the White House that you were saying while you were in the White House?
Well, well, I mean, he said it all, and he's absolutely 100% correct. Absolutely. Slimmy, you are funny. But he's absolutely 100% correct. I like the new Steven too, Eric. I love the new Steven. Okay, he gets a little liberal sometimes. You got to pull him back. You're like, nah, you got that little 10% going. But yeah, I like this new Stephen A because he talks. Okay, it's not just rhetoric. He talks. Okay. And yes, I did, Shane. I did get my wrench. Thank you. Okay. But yeah, what's going on, Jennifer? Yeah. I like this new Stephen. And I like what he had to say. And what he had to say was absolutely correct. Jean-Pierre, okay? Ms. Jean-Pierre, she went on to The View earlier this year, and she was talking about, the same thing Ratchet Crockett talks about, the mental acuity. His mental acuity was fine. Okay? What would you do differently? Nothing. Just like Kamala. Absolutely nothing. Okay? All of these people knew what was going on. That's why they're able to write books so fast. They couldn't do this with Trump. And everybody was anonymous. And I do mean everybody. And now the left has a problem with, anonymous writers and storytellers. When it was Donald Trump, they were like, oh, well, they just don't want retribution, but they're right. How do we know they're right? We don't know who it is, but they were fine with that. Now that the Democrats got a whole lot of leakers, they're not fine with it. Okay. When I tell you, for better, for worse, more likely for great, Donald Trump is shaking up Washington, and I love it. Okay, all of the bald-headed reasoning being squeezed out, all of the people with TDS is showing up. All of the people, I can't tell you how many people hit my inboxes, like and subscribe to my stuff that you would never think, because they don't want to say it publicly. And I don't understand. And you don't have to, because it's nobody's business. But I don't understand why people don't just go, with what they truly believe. Because I can tell you right now, it's not very popular for me as, a person of color to, and a woman at that, to say a lot of the things that I'm saying. But it is what it is. And I've been doing it my entire life. So maybe I'm used to it. But when I see, people that, yeah, when I see people like that, I shake my head, because it's got to be a horrible experience. It's got to be a horrible existence to not be able to say what you truly feel. So kudos to Stephen A for, starting to speak up. But you on your way to being a Jake Tapper too. Okay. Because you were drinking the Kamala Kool-Aid. You were talking about Sleepy Joe was okay. Yeah, you were, Stephen A. You were. But you pulled yourself back quick enough. You got off the Trump derangement. You was only on the tail of it. So you didn't climb up. So I guess they forgave you a little bit. You guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about everything Miss Karine Jean-Pierre is doing. Let me know what you think about her book, Independent. Will you be buying it? I'm not buying nothing. Okay, well, maybe I'll listen to the audiobook, while I'm cleaning up or something. Let me know if you'll be buying it. Let me know what you thought about Scott cooking twice on Abby's show and that other panel show that I don't care to name, because it doesn't matter. I get all my clips from Scott. Let me know what you think about Scott cooking about Jean-Pierre and how he was right. Okay. Also, let me know what you guys think about Stephen A here giving his liberal independent take on Miss Jean-Pierre and how she flip-flopped. All right, because she damn sure did flip-flop. And she had an opportunity to, come back and say something after she wasn't a press secretary, because let's just say, the White House was like, okay, you can't say nothing, you work for us. Well, guess what? You don't work for Sleazy E no more. Okay? You work for yourself now. And you could have said it, but you didn't, because you knew you had this book coming. You're just like Jake Tapper. Okay? Just the same. But it is what it is. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know your thoughts. All right. All right, you guys, let's go to the super chats really quick. Y'all are hilarious in the comments. I swear to goodness. All right, here we go. Slimmy, thank you for the $19.99 super chat. I am not. Do I look like Anton Daniels? I am not reading that. I know you're joking. I am not reading that in a different voice. I can't even get that deep. Great stream so far. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. Oh, you'll get that. Oh. So if you guys don't know who Slimmy is one of my good friends, and he's on a panel with me on After Hours with Anton Daniels. Okay. And that is Thursdays and Fridays that I am on, but they do it Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays over on the After Hours channel. You guys, if you have a moment and you like to be up late scrolling on YouTube and you like good content, go over there and check us out Thursdays, Fridays, and Tuesdays. Okay. So let me on there all the time. Wilding out. Huh? That's how. Never mind. I'm going to leave it alone, Slimmy. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you, friend. Oh, okay. $19.99. OG Hot Rod. Hey, Mika, just showing love and support. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. OG Hot Rod. What kind of hot rod you got? What you got? Let me know. What kind of car you got? Blow your hair in the wind, hot rod, one of them old ones, or what you got? Let me know. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Hey, Smitty. Thank you. $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Mike grab Jada Pinkett book. Before that. Her book gonna be just like this. Just like this. Nothing in it. Okay? It's nothing. I don't know what Jean-Pierre is going to talk about. Absolutely nothing. We don't want to hear it. Like, we don't want to hear it. Thank you, A.R. Smitty. I agree 100%. Okay? Thank you, Shane, for the $2 super chat. You got the morning show tomorrow? Yes, 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 yes. I got it. Okay. All of my LFR friends, I got it tomorrow. All right? I'm going to be up taking C4 and no-dos. You guys, thank you so much for the super chats. I greatly appreciate them. I do. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, you guys. So let's go ahead and get into our main topic, okay? Now, our main topic is, of course, Trump and Elon. And when I tell you Trump and Elon are doing too much, they're doing too much. So, you guys, I want you to see what the streets are saying about Trump and Elon, because Trump and Elon are fighting. All right, here we go, you guys. Here we go.
Script
60
keeper.
seconds on your fireworks. All right, look, time to drop the really big bomb. This is Elon Musk. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. Well, if that was the case, the Democrats would have put it out already, Elon. Oh, big fail there. Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. See? But that's what I was trying to tell y'all. If you think about it, if that was the case, this part, Biden, and believe me, Biden, Kamala, Hillary, all of them, Obama, Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, all of those, AOC, they all would have been harping on this. But yet there's no pictures for it. Elon, man. Bro, you know what gave you away? This was one of the main settings that I had talked about, the Devil's Champion costume, the upside down cross, the Baphomet. We done spoke about that. Then recently, the black eye. Did they slap you up, bro, and told you to go against Trump? I'm just wondering. And then the infamous Illuminati jacket. Oh yeah, we remember that. But this is the headbanger boogie right here. They all connected to this. PayPal Mafia. Palantir. Surveillance of the American people and the world, but mostly the American people. Surveillance. They know every time you're going to take a shit. And a quick breakdown. Okay, let me get this straight. The GOP are out there spending millions on luxury hotels in Ukraine, not voting on any Doge cuts, spending 60% of their time on vacation, not codifying executive orders, and they're not even bringing major reform to the American people and what we voted for, right? At the end of the day, this is what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. Dad, why can't government do anything right? Well, Russ, people can't seem to figure out that both parties are really one organized group of evil, greedy bastards working for themselves and against the people. Until Donald Trump came around, then they all lost their fucking marbles. TDS a little? 60 seconds on your popcorn.
So all of the conspiracy theories are out in the streets, okay? The girls are fighting. I'm sorry. The friends are fighting. I'm so used to saying the girls are fighting. The friends are fighting in the streets, okay? So Donald Trump and Elon Musk have been going back and forth, as you just saw, right? They've been going back and forth with these tweets. I'm sorry. What do they call them on X? I don't know. I'm going to call them tweets until I figure out what they call them on X. But these posts, they've been, Elon's just been spewing them off one by one, right? And I have my thoughts on what I think it is. But I wanted to play that video because it embodied the conspiracy theories. It embodied what political minds think. It embodies what the normal average everyday person thinks. Like, there's all these things going through a lot of people's mind, and the media hasn't really touched it yet. What are they called? They're just called X post. I didn't really like saying Twitter, but I don't like X post either. I don't know. We got to find something else. But thank you for letting me know what they are. However, I am just going to say this. I think it's staged. Okay. And I'll get into a little bit of that point in a minute. However, I do think it's staged. I really do. So let's go ahead and get into what Donald Trump had to say about Elon and all of his posts and what he thought. Here we go.
Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we're well anymore. I was surprised because you were here. Everybody in this room practically was here as we had a wonderful send-off. He said wonderful things about me. You couldn't have nicer. Said the best things. He's worn the hat. Trump was right about everything. And I am right about the great, big, beautiful bill. We call it a great, big, beautiful bill because that's what it is. And again, biggest tax cuts in history, biggest economic development moves anywhere. We've never done anything like it. Business is spurred. And I don't know if you've seen the numbers, but the numbers came out. Even the CBO, which is run by Democrats, said that we're going to be doing, I'd like you to discuss it, the 2.8 trillion, that CBO. This is a group of people that are Democrats. They're very hostile to us. they just came out with phenomenal numbers, what it does. You want to mention that, Scott?
Yes, sir. So what we've seen is we keep hearing from the CBO that there's going to be a large deficit from the bill, which we disagree with, but using the CBO scoring, they came out and scored the tariff revenue. We think it'll be the minimum of $2.8 trillion over the 10-year window, which actually puts the bill in surplus if you include the tariff revenue, which they won't do.
It gives you a tremendous surplus, but we're not allowed to use that. For some reason, they say scoring. Nobody knows what scoring means. Maybe a couple of people, but nobody. Somebody sits in the background. They say, well, we're not going to allow that. They're not allowing other things that we have that are tremendously profitable for our country. But if you saw the other day, CNBC, they came out with numbers, and the people on the show, very good people, I've watched them for a long time, they couldn't believe the numbers, how good they are. The numbers were incredible, and that was personal income and also very low inflation. We have very low inflation. We're down to 2% now, and maybe even lower than that. And when I took it over, it was a mess. Remember, we had the worst inflation probably in the history of our country. They say 48 years, but let's say I think it's worse than that. So we had the worst inflation in the history of our country under the Biden administration. Now we're down to a beautiful number, 2%. You'd actually like to keep it there. Better than zero is 2%. It's going down maybe to 1, and 1% is like perfect. That's perfect. You don't want to have zero for certain reasons that nobody is very interested to listen to. But we have almost perfect inflation. Grocery prices are down, everything. Remember eggs? We weren't going to buy another egg for the next 20 years. They were so expensive, right? Remember? You guys all hit me about eggs. Eggs have come down 400%. Everybody has eggs now. They're having eggs for breakfast again. But if you look at gasoline, very important. I think always the most important because it's the energy is the biggest factor. That's what happened. He screwed up our energy policy and everything went up because energy went up. But now energy is way down, and they have states where you're at $1.98 a gallon for gasoline.
Which state is that? Now, here in Maryland, it's very low. It's very low. Who in the chat has the dollar gas? Where y'all at? I need y'all to super chat because y'all save it. Who in the chat has the dollar gas? I would like to know who has the dollar gas. The dollar and what did he say? 78, 89 cents. Who has the dollar gas? Let me know. You need to super chat that to me right now. Just say with a $1,000 super chat. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, if someone does have that lower gas, which is probably like, regular gas somewhere down south, it's probably, then that's awesome. Here in Maryland, in some parts it's like $2, $3. So it's lower than it's been, because I can tell you right now, last year, this time, Maryland was pushing like $6, $7 for like, it was bad. It was really bad. So, he's absolutely right. Energy costs have gone down. However, somebody said $1 is cap. I love Trump. I don't know about the dollar. I don't know. But it is low. It is low. It's very low. Okay. The eggs, yes, they have gone down. Ratchet Crockett got corrected the other day, because she lied and said, he said eggs were going to go down day one. And the liberal person that was doing the interview, the interviewer said, well, eggs are down. After they went sky high, it's like, girl, give the man the props. He got the eggs down. Okay. Y'all were complaining about these eggs like as if y'all cook. Please. All right. So that's what Trump had to say about Elon and other things like the tariff, the big, beautiful bill, the big, ugly bill, as the Democrats like to call it, and how Elon has called it lately on X with the X post. Okay. So that's what Trump had to say. Now, one of the things that, kind of irritated me was the whole post about the Epstein files. Okay. Now, y'all know, I keep telling y'all, I am on Pam Bondi's neck because I want the Epstein files. Okay. I want the Ep files. I want those. I've been on Pam Bondi and Cash Patel's neck. Okay. Cash Patel can look all crazy as he wants to. I want him to look for those files and put them on somebody's desk where we can see. Because we already know. We know who it is. We know who we know Bill Clinton spent many nights trying to get away from Hillary down there. Okay? We know. We know, Prince Andrew and others. We know who was down there. But there are some that we do not know. However, there are others who just happen to be around Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, because he was a rich man. So he was in rich circles. Okay, so everybody is not guilty of being down there on that island or guilty of being flying down there, because let's also notate that Jeffrey Epstein, his jet flew a lot of people around as well. They didn't always go down to the island. So facts don't matter to the Democrats, okay? So they're going to take any little bit that they can. And by Elon saying on his X post that the reason why we don't have the Epstein files is because Donald Trump is on a flight is wrong. And so his little AI tool, Grok, even agreed. However, like I said, I think this is all a farce. Okay. But I'll get to that later. But here is what Elon was talking about. Here we go.
Of a Mar-a-Lago party shows Trump giving Epstein his personal attention. The footage, shot in November of 1992, before Trump opened the resort as a club, shows the future president surrounded by cheerleaders for the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins, capturing Trump's fun-loving bachelor lifestyle for an appearance on Faith Daniels' NBC talk show.
We're going to get great ratings in your show.
Trump is surrounded by women as music blares in the background. After a while, Trump goes to greet 3 new guests, among them the financier Jeffrey Epstein.
Come on in. Go inside.
More than a decade before his guilty plea on state prostitution charges.
Okay. So again, that's what they like to use. That's what they want to use as, a means of, I guess saying that that Donald Trump is guilty. That's what they want to use. And at the end of the day, why do we care? Why do we care that Donald Trump had him in the house? If that is the case, then we might as well call everybody, that was around P. Diddy at this point guilty of doing that stuff. Like, these are rich people, so I understand they're going to be around certain people. Okay. And not everybody knows what everybody's doing in Paris. And even if they do know, it's none of their business. So sometimes they don't even stop it. And you can think what you want about that. But just to say because somebody was around somebody, you need more than that. Okay. Now we know what Bill Clinton was doing. We already know. However, the same goes for Elon. Elon put that up, but here's Elon, okay, with the madam herself, Ghislaine Maxwell. Here is Ghislaine Maxwell and Elon Musk. So for Elon to actually put that up there, it's like my guy. Come on. You were around these people as well. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? All right. So Elon, he's got to watch it. He's definitely got to watch it. Now, to wrap all of this up, I want to come back to my favorite, the man that cooks every day, all day. And he was on with the man that lies because he knew Joe Biden was falling up the steps, which means that he had an issue going on. Okay? He had an issue. Scott Jennings was on with Jake Tapper talking about this very issue. And I must admit, Jake Tapper made it funny. Okay? This book must have cleared a little bit of his Trump derangement because he wasn't as stuffy on this program right here. All right? He had like a little fun with it. I can't stand that lady at the end because she's like a wishy-washy Republican, wishy-washy conservative. However, let's hear what Jake Tapper and Scott had to say about Elon in Trump's bro fight. Here we go.
Who gets you in the divorce, Trump or Elon?
Let me just tell
Okay,
you what every
forget that,
Republican
but-
is doing. I have my, here's where we are today. We're literally, heads are in the garbage can right now. That's the state of everybody I know at the moment. Not going to lie, it's an ugly day. You know, you hate it when your friends are fighting. I continue to believe that their partnership last year saved America. And I also continue to believe their goals are not mutually exclusive. Trump needs to pass his agenda, which this bill is his agenda. It's what he ran on. Elon wants to save America from going bankrupt, which they can also do if the Republicans in Congress and everybody works together. All of these things can happen. When fights get personal, though, it means the enemy is advancing. And in this case, it means the Democrats are laughing and advancing. So hopefully cooler heads will soon prevail and the president can get his agenda and Elon can convince the Republicans that the debt is a serious problem. But not going to lie, rough day for the Republicans.
Who gets you in the divorce, Trump or...
That was funny. Who gets Scott in a divorce? Trump or Elon? Now that was funny. He made it funny. Okay. Here's the thing. All right. Here's the thing. And these are my thoughts. I do think that Elon Musk has been beat down, okay, by all of those rhinos, by all of those corrupt Democrats, those corrupt liberals, you know, lobbyists, all of that. Okay. I think Elon thought that his billions would shield him from the deep state. And it did not. Okay. And it's tanking his businesses, it's tanking this and that and the third. And I do think that this is something that him and Trump cooked up. Okay, they cooking in the kitchen with this. And I'm going to tell you why I think this. Anybody that goes against Donald Trump, that used to be on Donald Trump's side and now is over here, seems to kind of go back to normalcy. Okay? All you got to do is rag on Trump a little bit. And to me, that's what it seems like. That's what it seems like. Trump is like, look, okay, your businesses are a mess and can't work here past 100 days. I say, talk about me. It's all right. Everybody else does. They'll go back to loving you. Okay, mañana. And we're all good. Because why else would he just come out of the woodworks with all of this? I mean, it was a lot. This is like an ex-girlfriend who had all your stuff. I mean, it looks no different than him and Shannon Sharp. You know, all the text messages is coming up. Like, what happened to this man? What happened to this man? This man said this. This man said this. Where's this Donald Trump? Where's this Donald Trump? Like, you kept all of those? Or, you know, you got your little IT guy to pull up every tweet Donald Trump has ever had. And then, right before I came on, I saw that Donald Trump was blocked from Twitter. Well, X. Like a girlfriend. You can't make this stuff up, okay? When I tell you DC is pop culture and pure theater, it is. It is. But Donald Trump is very smart, Okay. And I assure you, he knows all of the moves, all of those moves. Now, I could be wrong. However, I don't think I am. And I do think that once Elon moves out of the way a little bit, he's out of the limelight, he didn't ragged on Trump, and the leftist media get to go, look, you know Ratchet Crock is coming. She gonna come with, her glue down baby hairs and everything. We have just seen, did you guys see it? The bromance that was Donald Trump and Elon is no more. So that just means that, the Democrats, we are thinking. We have the thing that the American people want. And we knew it all along. That's what she's going to say. Because she doesn't say anything else. She doesn't have anything intelligent or policy driven to say. So that's going to be the next thing. That's going to be the next thing that the Democrats start focusing on. So give it to Monday. Give it to Monday. Okay. Let Elon tweet a little more. Let him get some Twitter fingers. Let him do it. Okay. You'll see bald-headed Ayanna Priestley up there. I know that Elon, I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. You'll see her. Watch. Just watch. You'll see her. You'll see everybody, Simone Saunders, everybody's going to be talking about this. And Elon is going to become less toxic and those stocks are going to go up. And I can't wait. I need him to go sky high. And all is well. Donald Trump fixed it. Because outside of that, you guys, what would be the purpose? Why would Elon do that? He's literally using every liberal talking point. He's using them all. You know why he's using them all? Because that's what the liberals like to hear. And to get a liberal vote, all you have to do is tell them what they like to hear. We know you don't have to do nothing for them because the 92% hasn't gotten anything from the Democratic Party in 59,000 years. Probably nothing since never. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you all think. Do you think the same way I think? Do you guys have the same perspective that I have? I could go a little more, but we'll be here forever. But here's the thing. That's just what I think. I do not truly think that Elon hates Donald Trump. I don't. Sorry. You're not going to get me to believe it. I don't. Not at all. So I don't think he necessarily is a big fan of the bill, but please. He spoke with Mike Johnson. He speaks with Trump. You cannot get me to think otherwise. So, like I said, I could be wrong. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think in the chat about Elon and Donald Trump's friendship, either tearing apart or being big business, which I'm more inclined to believe. All right. So let me go ahead and read these super chats really quick. And then I'm going to get into the mug. Okay. All right. Let me read these super chats. All right, John, thank you so much for the $50 super chat. I appreciate it. I'm definitely a massive and bigger Elon fan. Okay, that's different. I even bought into Tesla 10 years ago. Okay. Elon thinks the tariffs could lead to a recession. I disagree. I disagree as well. If the tariffs work, then the big, beautiful bill would cut the deficit. Risky stuff. Yep. But the tariffs, because I am a tax girl. Here's the thing. The tariffs they're trying to put those in place so they can get rid of the other taxes. Okay. We have been working off of, income tax for so long. We're like, this is how we depend on it. But if we want to get rid of it, we got to start doing what America used to do. Tax everybody else. You want to be here? Tax. When you go to the Bahamas and you get off the boat, VAT tax. When you go to the Bahamas, you get off the plane, VAT tax. Okay? They're taxing you to come to the Bahamas. Why can't we do that here? Mind your business. Eric Holmes. You know I got to get my glasses. Thank you so much, y'all, for the $50 super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right. Magnetar with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. How long did Elon allegedly know about this? I don't think it's a real thing, so who knows? Also, Trump now thinks Elon has too many contracts. 6 months ago, it was the government workers' fault. Well, Elon got those contracts under who? Sleepy Joe and Kamala. Okay. So when the government, or should I say Congress, and everybody was up in arms about those contracts that Elon got, they should have got mad at Joe Biden because he was the one that gave it to him. That's all Joe Biden's doing. That had nothing to do with Donald Trump. And Donald Trump probably didn't like it then. See, Donald Trump is one of those guys where, it doesn't make sense to argue about something, right? If it's not really hurting anything, but if I have an opportunity to remove it and I can, then I probably will. So that's how Donald Trump is. You weigh stuff out. And a lot of people can't do that. They're mostly emotional. They're emotion-based and they do everything off of that. That's usually what the Democrats do. They move with the emotion of the people. The people feel like this, they feel like that. That's why they don't have a centralized message, because they don't do what's actually best for the country and the people economically, looking at actual numbers and figures and trends. No, they don't do that. They look at the emotional side. Well, I feel like this week and next week it feels like this. That's what they do. That's what they do. So at the end of the day, this is why they don't have a message. So, I would stick with what Donald Trump is doing. But thank you, Magnetar. I appreciate it for the $5 super chat. And last but not least, we have Showcase Classics. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Enjoying the show, Mika. Keep the pressure on them about them Epstein files. I will, because I'm telling you, Pam Bondi, I live in the DMV area. I will go up to Capitol Hill with a little sign and talk about you, because I want those files. I've been saying this since Donald Trump got elected. Okay. I already know that it's up to the DOJ. You guys can release it. So I want the files. And I know it's a lot of people on Capitol Hill right now that's in those files. Okay. Their besties and everybody else. They're all in those files. And that's why they don't want to do it. I don't care. I want the files. Ma'am, get the files today. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Cash. Get the files. Thank you so much for the super chats. I appreciate every last one of you. Thank you so much, Show Class. Thank you so much, Classics. Thank you, Magnetar. Thank you, John. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, OG. Thank you, AR Smitty. Thank you, Slimmy. Thank you, Classics Perspective. Classy Perspective, I'm sorry. Thank you, Crunch Time TV. Thank everybody for showing up. And last but not least, you guys, today I am going to need, drum roll, please. I'm going to need Magnetar to send me your address to my email. Okay. I'm going to send you a mug, my bald-headed reasoning mug. Okay. On the leaderboard, you were chatting, you super chats. I mean, just showed out this week, and I do greatly appreciate it. So Magnetar, please go ahead to my page, my homepage with YouTube, and go ahead and just send me an email. Okay? Send me an email. I'm waiting for him to tell me he saw it in the chat. Yes, you won. You know what? Y'all are hilarious. All right, you guys, thank you so much for pulling up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I had a great time, had a fun time, and I appreciate every last one of you guys. Thank you, Yakar. Thank you, Dion. Thank you, Showcase. Thank you, Magnetar. Thank you, Yakar. Thank you, King. Thank you, Junior. Thank you, Quick Fix. Thank you, Kendra. Thank you, Eric Watson. Thank you, Eric Holmes. Thank you, War and Peace. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Let's see who else we have here. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, J Ben. What's up, J Ben? Let's see. Thank you, Dion. Thank you, Blue Blood Royalty. Hey, what's good? Okay. Thank you, John. Let's see who else we got up here. Thank you, Loud and Clear. All right. Thank you, Amber. Hey, Amber. How you doing? How you doing? Lord Jesus. The stuff be in my chat. But thank you. Okay. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Dan. Thank you all. I really do appreciate you all. Thank you. Thank you, King. Thank you, Big Happy. What? That is a name. FK Sims. Thank you. Thank you so much for showing up. Oh my God. Thank you, Slimmy. Thank you, everybody that showed up today. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you're up tonight around 10, 11 o'clock, shoot over to After Hours with Anton Daniels. I will be on there as well tonight and tomorrow. I'm on Thursdays and Fridays, okay? You guys, thank you so much for pulling up. I appreciate you. Again, Magnetar, make sure you send me your information so I can send you the mug to my email, okay? You guys, thank you. I appreciate you. It's your girl, Mika, and I'm out. Peace.